welcome back to the Saturday Five. You have been getting in contact at gbnews.com/your say. That last debate, Grumpy Grandad says, I think the left-wing ideology that plagues our education system has a lot to answer for too. I think lots of the panel would agree with you, Grandad. And Neil Norfolk says this, what about Lego Meccano, jigsaws, spirograph to entertain your child, rather than just handing them an iPad? What do you think of that, Trey?
Yeah, no, I love that, actually, because it gets people thinking, it gets their brain going.
We always have in our kitchen a puzzle on the go. It's got a case so the cats can't destroy it. And for 10 minutes a day, people will pop in, pop out, join together, do it. It's lovely.
Fantastic. Well, we've got a lot to get through. Darren Grimes, do you want to kick us off with the next debate?
Absolutely. Kai's favoured nutty party has decided that actually the Union flag and other symbols of our national identity are tools of hate. And actually this has come from a social cohesion report. Social cohesion, pull the other one. What you're actually trying to do is pick apart the social fabric of this country. These people wouldn't know anything about social cohesion whilst they fly every other flag other than our own. And actually you can be proud of those flags, that's okay. But as soon as you fly our own, well, you're in for the clink. I've got Union Jack pillows and cushions and all the rest of it. I'm probably part of the Prevent programme list being investigated as we speak. Ultimately, my friends, I think this is another damning indictment upon this Labour government and a sign that actually they do despise the symbols of national pride and civic pride in the same way that Emily Thornberry, that snooty mayor, actually decried the St George's Cross many years now ago.
Darren, I hate to tell you this, but that is total nonsense. Everything that we know about the social cohesion strategy has a litany of policy ideas that you would be thrilled with or should be thrilled with. What did it say about Islamism?
Well, no, hang on.
What did it say about blasphemy?
Hang on, what did it say about Islamism? What? Well, Sir Keir Starmer says that actually we won't intervene as far as Iran's concerned and support America.
It is clear-eyed that Islamism is the greatest extremist threat, gives new powers to shut down extremist charities, strengthens monitoring on non-violent extremism in schools.
But it does still call the Union flag a tool of hate.
After, and this is from the Spectator article where it was leaked, after it tries to also say that there were many people hailing it as a good symbol of pride. All they're saying is that some people are using it as a symbol of hate.
In my political life, right, I've been told that the taking down of the pride flag and the Ukrainian flag and the flying of our own instead, exclusively, banning the flying of, you know, the latest flag that gets the sort of foreign penchant of the moment. I said that we must only fly those flags that unite us all. I was told I'm homophobic for that. Now, I had to call up all my ex-boyfriends and say, hang on a minute, I've got something to tell you, I'm homophobic. And they said, oh dear, that's the worst of them all. But actually, ultimately, I think the decrying of that flag, the smirching, it is the most disgusting, I think, assault on who we are, our ancestors, that proud national identity.
There's nothing more important than keeping your money and your identity safe online. And with so many VPN options available, choosing the right one can be pretty daunting. But this video's sponsor, ExpressVPN, is making the choice easier for GB News viewers. ExpressVPN is offering up to 75% off, plus 4 extra months free. That's top-level security from just £2.49 a month, and you're covered by their 30-day money-back guarantee. So just click the link in this video's description or scan the QR code now. Remember, when you're online, you are often sharing personal data, so hackers can steal your information, your passwords, your photos, and your bank details in just seconds. But ExpressVPN encrypts your connection, making it virtually impossible for hackers to access your personal information. So why choose ExpressVPN? Well, it couldn't be easier to use. With just one click, you are protected. And ExpressVPN uses military-grade AES 256 encryption, which is the same standard trusted by the US government to guard their classified information. With their new tiered plans, you can protect up to 14 devices at once and manage passwords securely. Live chat support is available 24/7, and it typically connects you in under a minute with a real person. Click the link in this video's description or scan the QR code to get up to 75% off ExpressVPN, plus 4 months extra for free. Start protecting yourself today with ExpressVPN.
As a segue on the subject of self-loathing, this is all about the self-loathing, self-flagellating instinct that besets the modern left. This is all just about saying that we are evil colonial overlords and we need to atone for past sins that we had no control over. I'm so tired of it. I'm just so tired of it.
But there is also an association, isn't there? The association is that if you like our Union flag, you must be white van man.
Exactly.
As Emily Thornberry,
It's not
so
at all.
cleverly, it is that.
It's not at all.
It is.
What it says is that there are some people in this country, I mean, your whole argument is completely head in the clouds stuff, because it just fails to understand that, of course, the reality is that there are some people, some associations that have been made through football hooliganism or whatever in the past that are negative. Overwhelmingly, we should be treating the flag as a positive,
people in
but that
County
some
Durham,
people misuse
people
it.
in County Durham,
People misuse
How can you misuse our national flag?
Yeah.
People are flying that flag because they have been smeared as racist, as bigoted, as all kinds of things that your political party and supporters of it have done. That is actually a retaliation, a rejection of the smears by you people. And ultimately, what I would say, Kai, is you say I've got my head in the clouds. I would argue you've got your head somewhere else, but I can't say that on the
Look, guys, look, I want to jump in quickly because I think, look, listen, we definitely have had the days of there ain't no black in the Union Jack. That is true. However, what I think we need to have is a real celebration of the flag. I think it should be in every school.
So do I.
I think people should be singing the national anthem. I think we should really embrace the flag. As simple as that.
Well,
there's not enough of that.
I'm delighted that the spelks on your bottom can come out.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Well, don't worry, Darren.
I'm just balanced. I look at everything from nuance and balance. That's what I do.
We're actually going to go to Trey next for his debate immediately. So,
well, I think
continue.
I think I got from people probably applauding me saying that, and now they're going to do the absolute opposite. But
They're
here
just gonna
goes.
laugh
Pride
at
before
you.
a fall.
So anyway, I was 22 years old when I voted for Tony Blair in 1997, and I fell for the whole things can only get better. And it actually did for a while. Things were actually great. People were very optimistic. And 6 years after that, we were dragged into the Iraq War. And I remember that time thinking, this is an absolute disaster. And I wasn't alone. There were millions of other people. And I would argue that a lot of the problems that we live with now came from that time, dragging us into a disastrous war. So it's actually really great when I actually look, and I'm not someone that always loves what Keir Starmer does, absolutely not. But I actually felt pride for the very first time in absolute years. There's almost like a sense of atonement, because for the first time you had a Labour leader after so long actually saying, no, we're not just going to do what the Americans want. We are a sovereign nation. We are going to do what we want. And I felt pride about that. And I think there were millions of other people that felt pride in that. And I need to applaud Keir Starmer for that. Now, yeah, it may not last long. We are middle in power. We don't necessarily have the power to chart our own course forever. But in that little moment when he said, no, you're not going to use our bases, I think myself and millions of people cheered that and said, thank God there's someone that's standing up to another illegal war that's going to be absolutely disastrous for us as a nation.
I'll give a shout out to Tim Shipman from The Spectator, who wrote a very revealing article about what went on behind the scenes in this whole process around the government's response to the Iran intervention. What we found out is that Starmer was supportive in the cabinet of letting the US use Diego Garcia and the other base, and he was basically shouted down by Miliband and Reeves. So this whole thing, Trey, that you are proud of this bloke, mate, he was fully aboard, but he's so weak in his government. He doesn't have the gravitas in his government that he can't actually make a stance and stick with it because he's worried about being booted out of office.
But it was still him that had to deal with the absolute fury from Trump. It was him that has to take it, regardless. I think every decision is going to be made in the committee.
He's got the absolute fury of most of his communist Labour Party, because that's where they are. He should be enthusiastically calling for the demise of the Iranian regime without doubt. He should be wishing the US and Israel the best, offering
Why? How does it make Britain greater? I mean, we've been here before. I mean, I know we're having the same conversation, but most of the British public agree. How is it making us better? We're already talking about energy prices potentially going up. It's going to have an impact on food prices. It's going to impact in so many ways. How is it making us better? It's not like I'm against
How
this.
do you think a nuclear bomb from Iran would do?
Darren, I'll let you hit this.
But we were just told that the nuclear project was completely obliterated only months ago. I mean, come on.
Maybe
How does it make Britain great, Darren?
Who lied?
2 points. Actually, ultimately, I think, first of all, the only flag that the Labour Party would proudly fly right now is a white one. They're very French in their ambitions right now. A trans one, a Palestinian one.
So not true.
Maybe an Iranian one, actually, at some point. Kai, have you got one in your bedroom? Secondly, what I would say is that I think, actually, it's more sinister than that. I think the decision was made because they decided that after the Gorton and Denton by-election, they cannot afford to lose any more sectarian votes.
Yep.
So you think it's all about the Islamic voting base? I mean, come on.
Exactly.
Wait. We're talking about 60, 70, 80% of people don't want that war.
Okay,
They're not all
answer
Muslims.
me this then.
There are
Riddle me
people
this.
in this country who are
Riddle me
sick
this.
of these
Listen,
wars that are never ending.
Trey,
They're never ending wars.
They have just lost one of their top safest seats in the
sixth.
country, the sixth safest, to the Greens, who mobilised the Muslim vote. OK, so they are seeing the writing on the wall. We are at war with America at the moment. It's a tricky problem. They've got loads of people to get back from the Middle East. We've got Cyprus under threat and our people are there. And what did they choose to do on Monday? Introduce an Islamic hate czar.
Yeah.
Because he knows who he's got to play to.
Sorry, again, with the cherry picking, I've got to call this out.
Yeah.
That is one of so many measures that you should be applauding. You know what else they're doing next week, Dr. Renee, as you well know, is unveiling
Giving me
even
£40,000
more,
to go to a country of my choice.
even more sweeping asylum reforms, all of which come after the ones that are already done. That's Shabana Mahmood coming out against the left of her party that you call communists.
Good luck getting past them.
Well, the thing is, 100 people, but actually Shabana Mahmood is much more in line with the mainstream of the Labour Party than you think.
Never has the word sweeping done so much heavy lifting there.
Did you see that the leaked WhatsApp groups from a Labour WhatsApp group were all saying that Shabana Mahmood was some form of extremist, some swivel-eyed bigot?
Well,
Can I ask you, Darren, though, because Trey asked you earlier, how does this make Britain great?
How does
this war?
Well, I think the protection of our armed forces in Cyprus and other places, that makes Britain great. The ability to do that.
And
that goes without saying. How does it make... No, I'm really honest. Did the Iraq war make us great?
Listen to me.
Starmer said that actually we'll send out a ship and it'll get there on Tuesday. Cyprus could be gone by Tuesday.
Just very quickly, this is profound historical ignorance to say that this is similar to Iraq and Afghanistan. It is not. In one sentence, this is the way that you get rid of radical Islam around the world.
By having an ill-thought-out war with no exit strategy.
All right. Well,
how do you
we're going to have to leave it.
What's the exit strategy?
Why would they tell
They've
us?
given 3 or 4 different reasons for the war.
We can't get him off his soapbox tonight.